Chapter 17. Finally home and the big surprise. 3 more days pass, and they're currently passing Cuba and the Florida Keys. Fort Lauderdale isn't far now. John and Billy are happy to finally dock the yacht and have solid ground beneath their feet. John and Billy agree that as soon as they dock, they will go to a bar and drink away the stress of this adventure with beer. After a few more hours, they finally enter the port of Fort Lauderdale. It's bustling, with many people waving to John and Billy. When they finally dock and disembark the yacht with Rufus the Labrador, someone approaches them. They recognize him. It's the mayor of Fort Lauderdale. He says happily, "Welcome back. It's a pleasure to welcome you here." John and Billy look at each other in surprise and ask the mayor, "Why is there so much activity here?" He laughs and says, "You don't have to be modest. Everyone knows the stories about Ramirez's travels, about you, and your yacht." Now the two are completely surprised. The mayor tells Ramirez's story. Ramirez appeared out of nowhere on the British Navy ship a good 100 years ago. He materialized right before the eyes of the soldiers. Ramirez immediately became the center of attention. They asked him who he was and where he came from. He replied that his name was Ramirez and that he had returned from a trip to an underground world called Atlantis. He also immediately asked what year it was. He was happy to hear that he had returned the same day he began his journey through time. Nevertheless, he was initially taken into custody for further investigation. It took some time before they finally dared to take him on an expedition into the Bermuda Triangle area. The artifact he was carrying was the deciding factor. Scientists discovered that the material was ancient and unknown. It's an amulet of unknown origin. Billy and John look at each other. This is the amulet that had dissolved at the gate with Ramirez. The mayor continues, "With the help of this artifact, these holes were indeed located. It immediately became clear to everyone that this area had to be declared a restricted zone for scientific research. Thanks to these wormholes, a new energy source was discovered that significantly revolutionized space travel. Several expeditions were also undertaken into this subterranean realm, and a trade agreement was concluded with the people of Atlantis." John interrupts him, "How is that possible? When we were in Atlantis, it was very dangerous for us, as we were considered intruders, and no one had mentioned a trade agreement with the surface." The mayor then explains, "This is called a temporal paradox. It begins precisely with Ramirez's time travel back to his own time, where he then changed the course of history." Billy asks, "Why didn't we notice anything down there?" The mayor replies, "Because you're part of the reason, because the course of history has changed. Everything changed with the activation of the gate." John says, "Hopefully not too much has changed. Billy and I need to see what's changed for us personally." The mayor presents John and Billy with a check for $50,000 and the golden key to the city, and the audience applauds. Billy says to John, "We'll take a trip on the yacht and we'll be famous." John just grins. The mayor says goodbye, and John and Billy drive home to see if everything is okay. Both discover that everything is still the way they left home. Even their workplace is the same. John's discovery earned him a promotion from his boss at the shipyard. He's now the technical manager and a consultant for clients looking for special items. Billy, on the other hand, has been idling. He gambled away his share of the $50,000 check at the casino and hasn't been very approachable since. But thanks to his dog Rufus, he meets the love of his life. Final sequence. Several months have passed. John is at the shipyard, inspecting a newly built yacht for defects. His boss asks him over the walkie-talkie to come into the office. A client wants to ask him a few questions. John sets off, thinking nothing of it, as it happens several times a day. Arriving at the office, he sees a very old man using a walking frame to support himself. John notices that this old man bears a striking resemblance to Ramirez, but that can't be true, since Ramirez has been dead for many decades. The old man notices John, a smile spreads across his face, and he says, "Hello, John." John is surprised. The old man sounds just like Ramirez. He thinks that can't be possible. His boss stands up and says, "I'll leave you alone now so you can discuss the details." With that, he He leaves the office. John is so stunned that he can't speak. Ramirez breaks the silence. John, it's good to finally see you again after all this time. This amulet has kept me alive until today. I've aged very slowly and have never been ill. The only cruel thing was having to bury my children and grandchildren. I'm very tired of life and simply don't want it anymore. That's why I'm here to give you back the amulet, which is rightfully yours. John replies, why do you insist that I take the amulet? Honestly, I was glad when it disappeared. Ramirez replies, John, because you are the key between the two worlds, and only you can unite them. That will be your life's work. Sooner or later, certain people will seek you out and ask you for it. With these words, he hands the amulet to John with a look of relief. John puts the amulet around his neck and looks at it. It begins to glow neon blue. When John looks up, Ramirez is no longer there. He can't explain how Ramirez managed this. In any case, he's a bit apprehensive about handing over the burden, but also happy and excited about the adventures that lie ahead.